Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Dimple Khosla, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Dayal Singh College, Karnal. Today we will discuss the topic perception. By the end of this module, the students will be able to understand the meaning of perception, the features of perception, the difference barriers that comes in the way of perception. They'll understand the problems due to incorrect perception. They'll also know the measures for enhancing perceptual skills and will understand the implication of perception on organizational behavior. So let us start with the meaning of perception. What is perception? Perception is that process through which we can know or study the human behavior. This process includes selection, organization, and interpretation of information, which in turn will form the basis for that person's behavior. In the previous chapter, we have learnt about the meaning of perception and the process of perception. We discussed about how we receive certain stimuli, how we organize, and then how we interpret it. But in actual, perception process is not that simple. It is quite complicated and is influenced by so many factors. So in this chapter, we will study the features of perception and then we will understand the various barriers that come on the way of perceptual process. What are the various features of perception? Perception is the process related with mind, so it is known as an intellectual, cognitive and psychological process. Since different people perceive same things differently, it becomes a subjective process also. There are some features which clearly explain the features or nature of perception. Interpretation of data. It means to interpret the sensory data. Sensation engages in to find out whether the stimulus is present or not. However, perception engages in comprehending the stimulus. For example, if we see something for the first time, then it is the visual image for us, but our sensory organ like brain interpret that thing and then we understand about that. That understanding is called perception. Combination of two features. Perception is the combination of psychological and physiological features. Sensation is conceived by physiological feature, but perception is not only the result of physiological feature, it includes psychological features also. Because whatever we receive by our sensory organs from society, it is physiology, but perception is made only by psychology, which comes from our mind. For instance, if an employee is scolded by his employer, then it depends on the psychological state of the mind of the employee that how he takes it, whether he leaves the organization or he rehabilitate his mistake. Subjective. Perception is a subjective activity. It does not depend on reality because subjectivity does not depend upon actual things. It relies on whatever we see. Every person has different state of mind. For example, if you purchase a bike from the market, then you select a particular brand and model because you think it as the best as per your perception and attitude. But it does not prove that it is the best one available in the market. Predicting the behavior. Every person behaves according to his perception. If in an organization, an employer is able to understand the perception of his employees, then certainly in future he will be able to predict their behavior in the changing circumstances. For example, if in an organization all the work is being done through manual basis and now employer wants to bring technological upgradation by launching computers in the organization, then he can better understand how his employees will react if knows the perception of the employees. Determination of needs. It is said that perception is always influenced by the demand of the people. So this is quite a prominent feature of perception to determine the needs of the employee. For example, nowadays providing quality services to the consumers is the necessity of the hour, because people perceive the image of the organization on the basis of the services provided by them well in time and at reasonable rates. Next comes the comprehend the attitude. Perception is very prominent to comprehend the attitude of human beings. It also has proved to be the good tool in the marketing. For example, if a salesman is showing clothes to his customers, then an active salesman will immediately perceive the choice of the consumer by studying his behavior and attitude towards different types of clothes, and will then be able to deal him intelligently by showing him the clothes of his choice. Prominent for management. Perception can enhance the proficiency of managers because managers don't want to make mistakes in their working environment. It becomes very important for a manager to comprehend the perception of the employees to maintain good and healthy relationship with them and lead a hassle-free organization. Now we will study the barriers in perception process. There are many ways or factors which lead to incorrect perception. Stereotypes, expectations, projections, interest, attribution, halo effect, reference, exposure, etc. are some of the factors which fail the perception process. Number 1, selectivity. Under the process of perception, it has been noted that it is a selective process. In the environment, there are various stimuli. These can be in any form. An individual can only get attracted to a few stimuli, not towards all. His interest helps him to select the stimuli where others get ignored. For example, when we read a newspaper, we get attracted towards only some of the news and ignore the other. Thus, perceptual selectivity is biased due to certain beliefs, values, attitudes, interests, or needs. An individual has to screen out or filter out most of the stimuli so that he may deal with the important or relevant ones. But in actual, due to this, a person sees only what he wants to see and draws an inaccurate picture in his mind, which may result in hasty and wrong decisions. Number 2, stereotyping. It means to perceive a person on the basis of the characteristics of the group to which he or she belongs. It happens due to various causes such as nationality, religion, caste, profession, etc. For example, it is perceived that black persons are the music lovers. It's absolutely wrong to say that all the people in the group have same features. We normally make generalization about a person on the basis of his group. If we know a few Sikhs in our group and they all are non-vegetarians, then obviously on meeting a new Sikh person on a dinner, we will just presume without even asking that he will also be a non-vegetarian, whereas he may not. Similarly, if we take example of the advertisement, then we expect a macho man doing ad for a bike, whereas for a beauty product, we will perceive a beautiful girl doing that advertisement. So due to stereotyping, we don't think beyond the traditionally placed positions of the people, and our perception may result faulty. Exceptions are always there, like not all politicians are corrupt. But if we judge a person on this generally accepted trait, we will certainly make wrong decisions. Problems that arises due to incorrect perception. So, incorrect perception may further lead to various problems such as problems to personnel, fail to understand the situation properly, lack in good relations, poor working relationships, too authoritarian, conflicts with upper management, careers come to a screaming halt, pessimistic nature. All these can be avoided by taking some corrective measures while perceiving them correctly. The next topic comes, what are the measures for enhancing the perceptual skills? The factors which influences over the perception or perceptual barriers can be removed or minimized by managing developing perceptual process accurately. The accuracy of the perception can be enhanced by enhancing perceptual skills. These skills can be enhanced by adopting the following measures. Number 1, strengthening self-concept. Number 2, avoiding perceptual distortions. Number 3, open communication. Number 4, be empathetic. Number 5, avoiding personal biasness. Number 6, assessing and knowing others more and exactly. Number 7, knowing oneself more accurately. Number 8, develop habit of analyzing various stimuli from different or multidimensional point of view. Number 9, avoid perceiving on first impression. Number 10, get complete information from multi-source regarding any stimuli. And number 11, be in the adult ego state, that is state of analyzing what is right and what is wrong, that rational decisions can be taken which will further control internal conflicts of expecting. By adopting all the above mentioned measures, one can accurately perceive. In turn, it will also help to know your other preferences, thoughts or perceptions in order to avoid distortions. Implication of perception in organizational behavior. Perception is not an isolated activity. It is prevalent in almost all the areas of business and society. That's why it affects the whole business organization. Its impact on organization can be viewed in several ways, like implication on employee performance. Performance here means to how many tasks has been accomplished by an employee to secure the job of an individual, or how a person fulfills the requirement of the job. Here perception is applied to check and compare the performance of employees for the set standards. The standards, which are determined on the basis of perception, are sometimes biased because perception can never be the same. Perceiver's biasness engages in the following different aspects. Central point rating. Some perceivers have tendency to rate all the employees on the basis of the middle point of the rating scale. It is just because they do not want to indulge in any hassle due to lack of understanding. Liberalize the rating. Some perceivers set high rating to prevail the strictness in the environment, but they keep on changing the rating according to the situation, which does not serve any purpose. Personal biasness. Sometimes perceivers rate the group on the basis of the bias. If he personally likes the group or the individual, he'll give them good rating, otherwise not. Immediate effect. Perceiver normally remembers the immediate action of the employee rather than his entire activities at the time of perceiving. Implication on consumer services. Perception of consumers about the services provided by the company for the product they want to buy has a dramatic effect on the consumer's buying behavior. That's why company spends a lot of money on marketing to win the trust or reliability of the consumers, because customers listen from the advertisement or from the other sources about the company and make an image about the company and its product and services on the basis of that. Then we can see the implications on product design. Product designing is the main function of an organization because product is designed and packaged according to the consumer's perception. Designing and packaging plays important role in the purchase decision of the consumers. That's why at the time of planning regarding the designing and packaging of the product, firstly they sought the behavior of the consumer. Now comes the implication on management. Management is the main part of the organization and perception has an ultimate effect on the management. If a manager is capable of understanding the perception of the consumers as well as employees, only then he will be able to run the organization effectively. Otherwise, there may be some distortions in the organization. Effect on human resource department. Human resource department has a responsibility to manage and cooperate with all the other departments and also to provide redressal for their complaints. Research has sought out numerous aspects which affect the commitment of employees towards their organization. It is not the human resource practice, but it is the perception of subordinates regarding their workplace that matters more. Human resource department is affected by this because they have to maintain their commitments. There are three types of perception which affect the human resource department, that is perception of competitiveness, perception of clarity, perception of cooperation. Now the next comes is the implication on corporate image. Corporate image is essential for retaining the customer's loyalty. Here perception plays very important role. If corporate or company is developed according to the perception of the customers and employees, then its image will be good in the eyes of the consumers and its clients. Four types of perception which affect the corporate image are perception of brand, perception of cost, perception of quality and the perception of services. Now there comes implication on financial performance. Any organization which can do excel in perceiving the behavior of his employees and customers, then that organization becomes able to build good image in the heart of everyone. And its ultimate effect is shown through the financial results in the form of good financial performance. So it depends upon the organization's psychology, how it perceives all these aspects excellently and gain the profits. Three kinds of perception which affect the financial performance are perception of stakeholders, perception of banks and perception of financial institutions. Summary. Perception is the combination of physiological and psychological features. Sensation is conceived by physiological features, but perception is not only the result of physiological feature, it includes psychological features also. In hollow effect, an individual is evaluated on the basis of some particular quality, whereas in stereotyping, he is judged on the basis of a particular category. Attribution is the process by which a person attempts to explain the causes for an event. A perceptual set means the preoccupation of mind with some beliefs about something or about some person. Perception is not an isolated activity. It is prevalent in almost all the areas of business and society. Thank you.